Yo, what's going on? Mike from Mike Talk Sports. The Los Angeles Lakers had a roller coaster of a season, at one point being 2-10, looking like the playoffs were very far out of reach. Next thing you know it, we shake up this roster, make a couple trades, and end up making the playoffs and end up making the Western Conference Finals as a 7th seed. The Lakers' championship hopes are at an all-time high, and they come crashing down as the Denver Nuggets sweep in 4 games the Los Angeles Lakers. And now the main question on all of the Lakers fans' minds: do we re-sign D'Angelo Russell, our starting point guard? Now, I completely understand D'Angelo Russell was absolutely atrocious in the playoffs. Not only that, but he has a history of being bad in the playoffs. He's made the playoffs 3 times in his career, one with the Nets in 2018 after having a phenomenal regular season, arguably his best regular season, but really struggled in those playoffs. In 2021, he made the playoffs with the Timberwolves, really struggled in that one playoff series they had. And then, of course, this year, really struggled throughout the entire playoffs, outside of some good games in the Warriors series and a few good games in the Memphis series. Besides that, was really bad, especially in that Nuggets series, was outright unplayable at some points. The defense really was the main criticism of D'Angelo Russell, just really struggled on defense. But the thing is, that's not what the Lakers traded for him for. They traded for him for that really good three-point shooting, the really nice playmaking opportunities that he does bring to his teammates and does bring to the table as a good passer, and just overall his offensive game, but that really struggled in the playoffs. This year, 13.3 points per game, 1.8 turnovers per game, 4.6 assists per game, and the worst part, 31% from 3, 42% from the field. In fact, that 42% number from the field is actually his highest field goal percentage out of any playoff run, which is very bad when trying to justify re-signing D'Angelo Russell. If you want D'Angelo Russell to be a part of a championship team, you have to assume that these playoff woes are just going to stop, because quite simply, he has never proven to be a good playoff player. Now, the argument for D'Angelo Russell, this was a really nice regular season for him. He played phenomenal for those 20 games he did play with the Lakers this season. And overall, was this his best year of his career? You can argue that, but what I think is undeniable, this was his most efficient season of his entire career. Let me read off to you guys some stats. 17.8 points per game, 6.2 assists per game, 2.6 turnovers a game, which still is not good. He really needs to work on the decisiveness on the offensive end, in my opinion. The shot selection and just the overall decision making from D'Angelo Russell is still quite immature at some points, and that really has been the main criticism of his career, is just the immaturity on the offensive end. 39.6% from 3, and that number was even higher with the Lakers. He shot over 40% from the 3 in the regular season with the Los Angeles Lakers, which is by far a career high for D'Lo, which is definitely a good thing. And then he shot 47% from the field, which again is a career high for D'Angelo Russell. So he had a really good regular season, but he really struggled in the postseason. If you want LeBron James to win one more championship at the tail end of his career, you straight up cannot have a player like D'Angelo Russell getting significant minutes on your roster, a guy who's not going to offer high-end perimeter defense, and more importantly, has consistently been bad in the postseason. But the thing is, with LeBron James at this point of his career, you need some really good players. You need some high teens, early 20s scorers on his team to help get him through the regular season, because the reality of this situation is Anthony Davis and LeBron James at this point in their careers need significant breaks, at least 15-game breaks, not consecutively, but in total in the regular season, if they want to go into the playoffs at 100% and go in completely healthy. So D'Angelo Russell is definitely a guy who can help get this roster to the playoffs, but he's not a guy who can help finish the job for the Lakers, which really is the main criticism. So to answer the question of the video, should the Lakers re-sign D'Angelo Russell? Well, it depends. First off, he's not your main priority. Your main priority is obviously Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. I think that goes without debate and goes without question. I don't even think it's worth debating in this video. Austin Reeves clearly should be re-signed over D'Angelo Russell. Plays much better defense, and offensively, that floor and ceiling in the playoffs is just much higher. Same thing with Rui Hachimura. He definitely offers some length and versatility in that lineup as well, whereas D'Angelo Russell is really just pigeonholed into a shooting guard, really a catch and shoot shooter off of the ball, which he really struggled with in the playoffs because he's not really handling the ball all that much in the postseason, whereas in the regular season, he really is that point guard. Also, we need to look at the guard free agency class this year. It's really bad, and some of the good guys in this free agency class at the guard position have player options or they have team options. There is one singular guard I think the Lakers should prioritize in free agency over D'Angelo Russell, and if they can't get this player, then I believe, in my opinion, they should re-sign D'Angelo Russell because there's no other options out there, quite sadly, for the Los Angeles Lakers. And that guy I'm talking about is a guy who has a very similar play style to D'Angelo Russell and somewhat of a similar career arc as D'Angelo Russell. And I'm, of course, talking about Jordan Clarkson, someone who is really good this year. The issue is he has a player option. If he ends up declining this player option, I think the Lakers should pursue him hard in free agency. Now, he kind of defensively offers those same negatives and those same woes as D'Angelo Russell would in the postseason. And though he's not as good of a three-point shooter in the regular season as D'Angelo Russell is, the thing is the floor for his offensive game is just so much higher. He has so much more of an efficient offensive game in terms of attacking the basket, whereas D'Angelo Russell, it's either a floater from mid-range, it's either a contested mid-range pull-up, or it is a three, whereas Jordan Clarkson really is a three-level scorer. D'Angelo Russell is somewhat of a one-level scorer. So if I were the Lakers front office, I would try to exercise all other options, but ultimately I probably would re-sign D'Angelo Russell. But if I did re-sign D'Angelo Russell, I would make sure at most it was a 2-year deal, but ideally you sign him to another 1-year prove-it deal and see how he does in the postseason next year. Thanks for listening, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on D'Lo, and should the Los Angeles Lakers re-sign him?